Welcome back to our series diving deep into Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. If you've been following along with the PSYCHIANT Podcast, you know we've been unpacking these timeless laws through a psychological lens. Today, we're tackling Law 24, Play the Perfect Courtier. This law is all about mastering the art of navigating social hierarchies with finesse, charm, and strategy. Whether you're in a corporate boardroom, a social circle, or even a family dynamic, this law teaches you how to thrive in environments where power and influence reign supreme. So, buckle up, this is going to be a fascinating ride. Let's get straight to it. Law 24 states, the perfect courtier thrives in a world where everything revolves around power and political dexterity. He has mastered the art of indirection. He flatters, yields to superiors, and asserts power over others in the most oblique and graceful manner. In simpler terms, this law is about becoming a master of social navigation, knowing how to charm, influence, and position yourself favorably without ever seeming manipulative or aggressive. It's about playing the game of power with elegance. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like manipulation, and in a way, it is, but not in the malicious sense. From a psychological perspective, being a perfect courtier is about understanding human nature, reading social cues, and adapting your behavior to build trust and influence. It's less about deceit and more about strategic emotional intelligence. So, let's break down the key principles of this law, explore its psychological underpinnings, and look at real-life examples to see how it works in practice. So, what makes a perfect courtier? Robert Greene draws inspiration from the royal courts of history, like those in Renaissance Europe, where courtiers were advisors, diplomats, and influencers who survived by mastering the art of pleasing those in power while subtly advancing their own agendas. Here are the core traits of a perfect courtier, as outlined in Law 24. 1. Flattery with sincerity. A courtier knows how to compliment others in a way that feels genuine, not forced. 2. Yielding to superiors, they show respect and deference to those above them, avoiding direct confrontation. 3. Graceful influence, they exert power indirectly, through charm and persuasion rather than force. 4. Adaptability, they read the room and adjust their behavior to fit the context, whether formal or casual. 5. Discretion, they keep secrets, avoid gossip, and maintain an air of mystery. From a psychological perspective, these traits align with concepts like emotional intelligence, social mirroring, and impression management. Let's dive into each of these and see how they work. Let's start with flattery. Psychologically, flattery taps into our need for validation. Studies, like those by social psychologist Robert Greene, show that people are more likely to trust and like those who offer genuine praise. The key word here is genuine. A perfect courtier doesn't just throw around empty compliments, they observe what someone values and tailor their praise to resonate. For example, complimenting a boss on their leadership vision rather than something generic like nice tie shows you've done your homework. Next, yielding to superiors. This is rooted in the psychology of power dynamics. In any hierarchy, those in charge expect deference. It's a signal of respect that reinforces their status. By yielding, you're not being weak, you're strategically lowering their defenses. Neuropsychologically, this reduces their stress response, making them more open to your influence later. Think of it as a long game. You give a little now to gain a lot later. Then there's graceful influence. This is where the courtier shines. Instead of demanding or arguing, they persuade through storytelling, subtle suggestions, or aligning their ideas with others' goals. This ties into the psychological principle of reciprocity. When you make someone feel valued, they're more likely to return the favor. A courtier plants seeds of influence and lets others think it was their idea all along. Adaptability is another cornerstone. Psychologically, this is about social mirroring, mimicking the tone, body language, or energy of those around you to build rapport. Studies in behavioral psychology show that people feel more comfortable with those who reflect their demeanor. A courtier reads the room and shifts their approach, formal with a CEO, relaxed with a colleague, empathetic with a friend. Finally, discretion. In psychology, this relates to trust building. By keeping secrets and avoiding gossip, you signal reliability. This creates a halo effect. People associate you with integrity, which amplifies your influence. Plus, a touch of mystery makes you intriguing, keeping others curious about you. Let's bring this to life with some examples. Historically, one of the best examples of a perfect courtier is Niccolo Machiavelli himself. Yes, the guy who wrote The Prince was a master courtier. In the Medici court, he flattered his patrons, adapted to their moods, and offered advice in ways that made them feel brilliant. By staying discreet and avoiding overt power grabs, he maintained influence even in turbulent times. Now, let's look at a modern example. Imagine Sarah, a mid-level manager at a tech company. Sarah wants a promotion, but her boss, Alex, is tough to impress. Instead of demanding a raise, Sarah plays the perfect courtier. She starts by observing Alex's priorities, data-driven results, and innovation. In meetings, she subtly praises Alex's vision, saying things like, "I really admire how you've streamlined our data processes." This builds rapport. She also yields to Alex's authority, never challenging him publicly, but offering suggestions privately, like, "I was thinking about your idea for the new app. What if we added a feature to track user engagement?" This makes Alex feel like the idea is his. Sarah adapts her communication style, professional with Alex, but friendly with her team to keep morale high. She's discreet, never sharing sensitive info, which earns her trust. Over time, Alex sees her as indispensable, and she lands the promotion. Another real-world example is in politics. Look at someone like Angela Merkel, former German Chancellor. Merkel was known for her understated style, yet she wielded immense influence. She listened carefully, flattered allies with diplomatic praise, and yielded to stronger personalities in public, while steering outcomes behind the scenes. Her ability to adapt to different leaders, Trump, Putin, Macron, made her a master courtier on the global stage. So, how can you apply Law 24 in your life, whether you're navigating a workplace, a social group, or even a family? Here are practical steps grounded in psychology. 1. Master flattery. Observe what people value: work ethic, creativity, loyalty, and offer specific, sincere compliments. For example, tell a colleague, "Your presentation slides were so clear. They really helped me understand the project." 2. Yield strategically. Show respect to those above you, but don't grovel. A simple, "I appreciate your perspective," can go a long way. 3. Influence indirectly. Instead of pushing your ideas, frame them as benefits to others. For instance, "I think this approach could help the team hit our targets faster." 4. Adapt to the room. Match the energy of the group: serious in a boardroom, light-hearted at a party. 5. Stay discreet. Avoid gossip and keep confidences. This builds trust and makes you a go-to person for sensitive matters. But here's a word of caution. Law 24 isn't about being fake or losing yourself. It's about strategic authenticity. If you overdo flattery or seem insincere, people will sense it. Psychologically, humans are wired to detect inauthenticity. Our amygdala picks up on subtle cues like forced smiles or exaggerated praise. So, balance is key. Be genuine but strategic. Like all of Greene's laws, Law 24 has risks. If you're too obvious in your flattery or manipulation, you could come off as a sycophant, losing respect. Over-yielding might make you seem weak, and too much discretion could isolate you. The key is calibration. Know when to push, when to pull back, but the reward's huge. By mastering this law, you build alliances, gain trust, and position yourself as a power player without making enemies. Psychologically, you're creating a positive feedback loop. People like you, trust you, and want you around, which amplifies your influence over time. Let's wrap up with a detailed scenario. Meet James, a freelancer trying to land a big contract with a marketing firm. The firm's director, Lisa, is known for being tough but values creativity. James studies Lisa's work and notices she's passionate about sustainable branding. At their first meeting, he says, "I was really inspired by your campaign for eco-friendly products. It's rare to see such bold, creativity in this space. Lisa lights up, feeling validated. James doesn't challenge Lisa's ideas directly, even when he disagrees. Instead, he yields, saying, "I love your vision for this project. Could we maybe tweak the color scheme to align with current trends?" Lisa feels respected and considers his suggestion. James adapts his tone professional with Lisa, but warm with her team to build camaraderie. He stays discreet, never sharing details about the project with competitors. By the end, Lisa trusts him completely and offers him the contract. That's Law 24 in action: flattery, yielding, subtle influence, adaptability, and discretion, all working together to create a win. Law 24, Play the Perfect Courtier, is about mastering the art of influence with grace and strategy. It's not about being fake, it's about understanding human psychology and using it to navigate power dynamics effectively. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, building a social network, or even managing family dynamics, this law gives you the tools to thrive. So, try it out, start small, observe the people around you, and practice these principles. And if you want to dive deeper into the 48 laws of power, check out the PSYCHIANT podcast for more insights and grab a copy of Robert Greene's book. What do you think of Law 24? Have you seen it in action? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more videos in this series.